Hey, welcome guys to another episode of the Truth Brigade with Tommy Truthful and Honey C. Golden. If you're in my audience and you haven't seen Honey yet, she's phenomenal. She has a book, she's an author, does amazing work. You could check that out, link in the bio. It's also up on Amazon. Today, we're going to get into this scripted reality that we live in, and I'm going to show you guys some connections to this 88 code. So before we get into it, let me unmute Honey because her wind was going crazy.
Yeah, there was a plane that went over
Oh, was there?
really loud. Yeah. So we are close to the Air Force Base. So
Oh,
we get a lot of like flybys. Yeah. Pretty crazy.
yeah. Plus, you're super high in the air.
We are. We're at 8,500 feet. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not 80,000 guys, which I thought for a second.
Yes. No.
So, the reason we came together today to do this show was due to the scare with Trump passing away. It went viral on all these platforms, and everyone was retweeting it, resharing it. You know, it's really sad too, guys, because there's like no journalistic integrity no more. No, you know, any of them journalists could have reached out for a quote, maybe from his team or him, but I found it very fascinating because this gets into the whole scripted reality. And this has nothing to do with Trump. We all have a source code connected to us. I do. Honey does. Honey's is 40. So there's a source code connected to each one of our names. And Trump equals 88. Now, something very fascinating when this rumor happens that he passed away, it was exactly 8 months and 8 days after the 8.8 magnitude earthquake off of Russia that they said triggered a tsunami in Hawaii. Well, my mom was down there at the time, if you remember, Honey. Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And she said people were going, the tourists were going crazy. The locals were chilling. It was like another day in Hawaii for them. But no tsunami came. Some big waves though, but
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't a tsunami. But it was one of the biggest recorded earthquakes that in history. So it was an 8.8, and then 8 months later, and 8 months and 8 days later, that's when this story breaks with Donald Trump. And like I said, in English ordinal gematria, which if you're not familiar with what it is, it comes from Jewish Kabbalah mysticism, and they use it to decode the Torah. There's hidden messages within it. So we're using the English ordinal cipher, right? And A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, all the way through Z is 26. You have the reduction cipher. There's many different ones that you can use. But in that cipher, Trump being 88, 8 months, 8 days later. Now think about this, guys. Trump was raided in Mar-a-Lago with that false stuff on 8/8 of 2022. And then on the 1 year anniversary from Donald Trump's raid on 8/8, that's the Lionsgate portal. What happened? That was the Lahaina massacre. And that's really what I call it because I don't believe that was natural myself.
No.
Do you, Honey?
No, that was like a lower timeline breaking through. It was really gross what happened there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was sad too, you know,
Mm-hmm. Really
for the
sad. Yeah.
yeah, you shouldn't do stuff like that. That should it was heartbreaking. But so that happens on 8/8 in the 808 area code, right? On the anniversary of Trump who equals 88 in the whole Mar-a-Lago situation. So you can see the source code in reality happening here. And 88 is connected to element radium. Radium is the unseen energy which ties into the fires that this, as far as symbolism, symbolically.
Mm-hmm.
It's that hidden energy. If you look into what radium is. It's used in many different things. We used to use it a lot more than we do now, but it's also the double 8, so it amplifies that energy, and 8 represents power, cycles, control systems. And what did they do with Lahaina? Well, they burnt the shit down, and now they're building a little smart city, smart grid there. Hopefully that doesn't go through and it falls apart.
It will.
Yeah, I'm hoping so too. But if you don't understand reality, guys, we so we're living in a simulated reality. I mean, Honey talks about it all the time. I do. You're now. I put this post up on our platform we have together, stepintoyourpower.com, last night, and I did a post about it where I said, "You are not the earth. Your body is earth. You are the soul experiencing a simulation processed by your body. You do not have a life, you are life. And you do not have the soul, you are the soul, the observer." Look into the quantum physics, the double slit experiment, one of my favorites, how particles behave and act when they're observed compared to when they're not. So, and then the fourth one is you are not the universe, or you are not in the universe, you are the universe, right? So, a little bit on that, Honey. Whoa, what happened there? Don't you agree that we are creating our own reality?
Totally. So we have our reality that we create individually, and then we have the collective reality that we create.
Yep.
And we're basically here graduating humanity out of slavery. So there's a beautiful organic matrix, which is still a game.
Yep.
That basically had an overlay. So like a yucky film over the top of it. And the film is what we're destroying right now. So we're breaking the 3D film. And it's just going to continue to collapse. And you can see it collapsing right now. 100%. So as that happens, we'll move further and further into the 5th dimension as a collective. Some people are behaving like they're in the 5th dimension already, so they're actually having a beautiful experience right now.
Yep.
So keeping all that stuff in mind, ultimately you can create the most beautiful reality for yourself. And you also need to not be worried about bringing everybody with you, because they'll be attracted to you eventually. But if you worry about it, then you're letting them drag on you as well.
They're attracted to your energy, right?
Yeah. And they'll want to join you, and your energy will kind of inspire their energy. But when we try, just like if you tried to wake somebody up, it doesn't work. So just be yourself and let them get attracted to your energy, not trying to fix them.
That's so true, because we're all on our own journey. And I've had that experience in my own life, guys, with my mother, who's like my best friend. I love her to death. She's an amazing mom, but she's so indoctrinated and so programmed with certain things. And I just can't get through it. So we don't even talk about that stuff anymore, because it just makes she's not going to see it my way, and she's just going to get upset. So I just don't even go there. You know what I mean? She'll believe anything the mainstream media tells her. I mean, she's hook, line, and sinker. I'm like, oh man, Ma. Now, thank God my kids, I've always raised them teaching them the truth. I never taught them about, Easter, or which is really Ishtar, the worship of Ishtar. That's why we have the eggs, guys. And by the way, on the 12th is Easter again. Did you know that, Honey?
No.
Oh yeah. It's like a glitch in the matrix. It's Orthodox Easter. I didn't even know that was the thing.
I didn't know that was a thing either.
No, it's on my Apple.
I wonder if that's White Hat, so that they have another thing that they can release.
because I've never heard of 2 Easters. Have you?
Never.
Ever in my life. It's like when they told us we had 2 moons in the sky. Remember
Yeah,
that?
definitely a glitch.
It's like a glitch in the matrix. I'm thinking, wait a second, why have I not heard about this Orthodox Easter ever in my whole life? And then I'm thinking, what is Orthodox? So I looked into it, and that's what the Russian church still is. And the Byzantine Empire was kind of part of that whole Orthodox religious system.
Yeah, so if anybody is in that or grew up that way, let us know if that was really a thing in the past, because to me, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, guys, have you guys in the chat ever heard of the Orthodox Easter that we got coming up again? Because that is a funny one. Yeah, I was looking at my phone on my iPhone because I had me and Honey scheduled in for today, and I was like, okay, let me see what all my events are. I seen the show me and you and Richard got coming up, and then I said, wait, what is this? Orthodox Easter? Because I thought it was an event. And no, it's Orthodox Easter. Yeah, me neither. I've never heard of it. It just seems like maybe it's AI making a mistake. Who knows? Sometimes I think, AI might be. Well, I know a lot of these major news companies fired a lot of their writers and now are using AI. So I kind of wonder if sometimes that makes a mistake. And how Honey talked about we're leaving the 3D and people are now experiencing 5D consciousness. In the 3D, that's when we were dealing with these entities known as the Archons, right? Yaldabaoth, and they were the ones that still do try to hang on and bleed up into our thing. That's why it was so good how you explained it, like a layer over reality, because that's really what it is. It was a AI artificial overlay that was over reality that was created by these archons, and what they were trying to do is get humanity to interface with them, which would allow them to exist here in the physical world. That's all the merging with AI and putting the microchip in your brain, and next thing you know, you'll be but thank God we're moving past that, and most people are waking up now, and it's taken the power away from them. So if we continue on the journey we're on, it's going to be a beautiful world. We just got to stay on course. But for any of you that don't know, the Archons, if you look into the oldest version of where we get the names from the days of the week, you know how people base it, Honey, on like Norse mythology. Tuesday, what was that one? Thursday's Thursday, Wednesday's Odin, Fridays from Frigg. I can't remember or Freya. But it originally came from the 7, what they said was the 7 original planets, and each one of the 7 main archons represented one of them. Now, Yaldabaoth is known as the blind god, the demiurge. In Gnostic Christianity, this is the one they said Jesus came back to expose, which Jesus in that scenario really represented that Neo archetype, right? He was coming back to free humanity and show them you're worshiping a false god. And Yaldabaoth was created by Sophia. She wanted to create something on her own, and she created him without her male counterpart, and he was kind of crazy. So she hid him in this cloud that no one else could see. And then he started mimicking, because he can't create on his own, but he can mimic what the source, what the divine does. So he tried to create his own little clique. But it shows you here the 7 planetary, which were all connected to one of these archons, which ties into the days of the week. There is one that's good, though, that went against Yaldabaoth. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's the one connected to the moon that tried to go against him and stop him from doing what he was doing. Yeah.
So that would have been the feminine.
The feminine energy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I think about all those things you just said, when we were in the spiritual war, like the really intense part of it. So what was the name? Alien versus Predator, or Predator? The one that had all the crazy like dreadlocks that were alive?
Yes. My favorite.
Okay. So an Archon actually looks similar to that in a body, but purple. So purple and white. So kind of like a combination, because somebody was asking, a combination of Predator and Star Wars, like those white soldier guys, but with purple under the white. So I watched them on the bottom of Earth. They created a war, and they went to war with kind of a chaos. It's kind of chaotic on the bottom of Earth. And you have to look at what I think Earth actually looks like to comprehend this. But they tore a canyon with lightning through the bottom of Earth, and it looks similar to the Grand Canyon. And then they were finally expunged out. So when you think about that, so Sophia is actually the same person or the same soul as Mary Magdalene and as Mother Mary and many other people.
Isis.
Yeah. And what happened is Sophia is that same being, but who was born? One of her children, which if you read the book, The Law of One of her children, they were sorry that they had given him the codes, right? He had the codes to create the false overlay.
Yaldabaoth, right?
Yeah, he has many names.
Yeah, he does.
And he's played many parts here on Earth. And he also had several brothers and sisters who he basically pulled in to this, the 3D addiction is what I'm going to call it, because they were addicted to the 3D. And they created a lot of negativity here, and they enslaved humanity by basically tricking them, because humanity was the youngest soul group. So right now, what we're doing is we're freeing humanity. The Archons are gone. The souls that created the Archons and created all of that false matrix, they've been gone for 2.5 years. So the mid 2023, they are gone since then. So there's no one holding 3D except for us. So 3D is held within the human body as programming, and also within the human subconscious mind as programming. So as we heal ourselves, the 3D will go away faster and faster and faster. And this year is the year where the 5th dimension will come in. We're already in the 5th density, but the dimension is the consciousness. Instant manifestation. Yeah. So
yeah,
it's really
like
cool.
Consciousness, in the 5D, if you look into metaphysics as a form of consciousness, so we experience it consciously, but like in our physical body, we would be crystalline in the 5D, which we might end up being eventually.
We are now, because that's the physical part, but the brain doesn't know how to utilize it yet. So that's what's shifting.
Oh, that's interesting. Let me shut this window real quick, honey.
Yeah. So MR Hayes is saying, because I don't have the ability right now to pop this on the screen, humanity has a trusting character, and deceit is not our nature. And that's very true. So humanity was like a very childlike, new kind of soul group that had aspects of all the soul groups. So basically what they were doing is creating a creator that was filled with love. and they were taken advantage of by traumatized beings who wanted to stay in a negative type of overlay. And finally, that's been broken. And what we're doing is we're clearing all that. So we're going to see the world look very crazy. And it's already looking crazy, but it's going to look more crazy as we go.
Yeah. I mean, well, the old's got to crumble for the new to come out. But yeah, it's fascinating because them entities that try to keep us on that lower frequency, now they exist, but not in the 3D. It's in like the lowest base of reality they call the lower astral plane, and that's where you want to keep them, down there. We don't want to bring them back up because they feed off of that chi, that prana, that life force known as lush, and the purest form of it. Even though the purest form is really love, that's really the most powerful energy, but for some reason they try to feed on that negative lower vibration, and like Honey was talking about, they have multiple different names. Yaldabaoth, Moloch, Baal, and based on the 3D structure, how it used to be, there's a little breakdown of their little. That's how it used to be. We're moving out of that, but I thought this was interesting that Verizon will be hosting their 3rd annual Moloch conference. I was telling Honey that before we started the show. I'm like, what a crazy. Yeah, what a great name to pick for your
Well, they're exposing themselves, obviously. A lot of people are being exposed right now, and a lot of companies. And it's part of the healing. Unfortunately, like everything, like a boil on the skin or a pimple, it has to come to the surface in order to be popped. And that's what's going on. We're basically bringing everything to the surface so it can be cleaned up and healed. So if you have something going on, let's say in your body, you can also ask, is this a parallel of mine that needs to be cleared up? Because eventually there will be no more demons. There will be no more shadows, because they will all be healed, and we're the ones that are healing them, because we have aspects of ourself, of our oversoul, that are experiencing stressful lifetimes right now. And it will come in and bother you sometimes. So when that happens, call in your angels and say, all aspects of me that are not healed, I want them to go home to what I would call, like heaven, the astral plane, the universe, source, whatever you want to call it, and be healed. So doing that is really important.
Yeah. No, yeah. I agree with you 100%, because if you don't heal yourself, then you can't really like step into the best version of yourself, and healing is very important. Like Honey said, actually, matter of fact, we just did a show on that not too long ago, stepping into the best version of yourself. We did it over on stepintoyourpower.com. And yeah, this is for my people that don't know, this is a show me and Honey do together, our little podcast, Truth Brigade. We haven't done it in a while. That was on my end. I was going through some things with my surgery in my mouth and stuff like that. But yeah, healing, it's a big one, man. You really you got to work on yourself more, right? Because if you don't, you're just going to be stuck in this trauma loop. And a lot of people, what they deal with depression and all that, it all comes from forms of trauma in this old programming. So healing that programming through the subconscious mind is very important. You want to reprogram yourself, guys. So the new programming, self-love, empowerment, healing, abundance, the old programming, that anxiety, fear, self-sabotage. When you're in that type of vibration, you're going to pull that energy towards yourself. That's what I think anyways, as
So
far.
true. Yeah. You're the magnet. You attract what you are. So if you want a beautiful partner in your life, then become one. If you want lots and lots of abundance, then start feeling that in your body and preparing your nervous system to receive that. Become the magnet.
I like that. That's a good saying. I'm gonna have to steal that from you, honey. Become the
Okay.
magnet. I think you started the one, become the med bed, and then my dad uses it
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot. But that was definitely honey, because you said that on a show with me before, so I know it was you. And it's funny too, honey. A lot of these sacred symbols, we got to do a show just on this, how
Yeah.
they've taken them and inverted them, because it's so important that we take them back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, certain numbers. Another one, and I'm not saying it's not evil. I don't know, but when you look at the symbolism behind this whole Baphomet thing, you'll see the tattoo on his arm, and this gets into the whole simulated reality. Solve and coagulate, which means to dissolve and coagulate, to break a substance down to its basic elements before reforming it into something new. So it's really inner alchemy. And look what it equals, 133, matching the simulation,
Mm-hmm.
because we are the ones that rebuild, and we can break something down, systems, and rebuild them into what we want. And if you just simply look at the symbolism of the Baphomet, what do you see there? As above, so below. He's pointing one finger up, one down. You have the female upper part, the male lower part. You have scale, the fish scale. See them where the medical sign is. So that represents a water element, and then the hoof in the goat represents Capricorn. So you have the earth element. So you got the water, the earth, and then over his head is usually on fire right there, which represents the awakening of the pineal gland. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just another thing, just like hell, honey. I was looking into hell the other day when my mom kept telling me I was going to go there. Yes, she told me like 5 times.
Terrible.
She's like, you got to stop looking into this stuff. This is what you call it, divination. She's like, you don't want to go to hell, son, for looking into. I said, what? God's gonna put me in hell for looking at numerology, mom? That's kind of crazy. I said, I don't know what God you're praying, but my God don't care about that. He's the one that create, and just saying he, like, God is more than he or she. It's pure consciousness, pure love, pure energy. But I said, yeah, we must worship two different gods, I guess, because the God I know ain't gonna put you in hell for something like that. So I started looking into it in the Bible, and I could not find one Bible verse talking about hell. It comes
No.
from Dante's Inferno. You know that, right?
Yeah, they made it up. It's basically a reason to like pick on people in church, is what I think. It's a way to keep them in line. There really isn't any kind of hell. If there is, it would be Earth, in the 3D. That would be what I would call hell. So it's very interesting, and if you're looping on negative things, then you're basically creating it for yourself with that. And this audience really knows, like, to try and mind your mind at this point, because we don't need to be creating negative things for ourselves.
No, we definitely don't. We don't want to re-manifest something like that. We're getting out of that whole lower vibration. So why would you? But you got so many people that are. I guess it's being comfortable with something. If you look into Buddhism and Hinduism, there's something called the Bardo. Have you ever heard of this?
I've heard of it. I don't remember what it is, though.
So the Bardo is like 49 days. So 49 days after you die, you go through these stages. And the one stage right before the end is where you face like your inner traumas, your
Mhm.
they pretty much say you see demons, all the shit, but it's all a trick. It's all within your consciousness. And if you get through that part of the bardo, you go on to the next phase of reality, like the higher dimensions, if you want to call them that, right? The higher planes of existence. So if you fall for the trap and get scared, people want to attach back onto something that feels comfortable because they're like, oh man, I'm stuck in hell. I just want to go back to earth and go back to my family and my loved ones. And then you'll reincarnate. So
Yeah.
as far as that theory with the bardo goes, it's very fascinating.
Sounds like the life review.
Oh,
You know, that's the life review that people have. And also, we have to remember that in the past, there was what you would call, what was that called? They had the wheel of time, but it was actually, the reincarnation wheel.
yes.
The wheel of time was basically disclosure of the reincarnation wheel, which no longer exists. But they were trapping human souls and basically shooting them back out to be born again. So they didn't get to experience heaven. They didn't get to go through their life review. They just basically had to go back into the earth experience. And that was really, really hard on humanity. It was another way that they were being jailed.
Right. They couldn't experience the higher ethereal realms.
Yeah.
We got trapped in this life, death, rebirth cycle. And speaking of the number 88, that's really the 8 too. It represents that whole the serpent swallowing its tail, the Ouroboros, that cycle, right?
Yeah.
Which is going to be so fun, honey, to move past that this time.
Mm-hmm. So fun. And if you think about too, like you started out talking about Trump and 88, The Simpsons also predicted that he was going to pass away, right?
Yep.
And guess what? He didn't. He didn't pass away. We still have the character of Trump. Now, the real Trump has been under the mountain or up in some kind of ship for probably a couple of years now. We don't really see the genuine person anymore. He's moved on to other jobs. That's what I'm always getting. But his character is still playing out the movie that we're watching that will eventually, free humanity. The meek are going to inherit the earth, but they're still putting in things from the looking glass of 4D. So the 4D looking glass is what we used to have. And the military is now using a 5th dimensional looking glass, but they're still playing out some of the things that were seen in the 4th dimensional looking glass. And The Simpsons, that was a big one.
Yeah, they predicted it. And so this whole thing, and then what about all the parallels with Donald Trump too and Ronald Reagan? So I watched this documentary on Reagan, and I didn't know he started something called Star Force or what? Wait, Star Trek. What was it called?
Oh, probably another space thing.
Yeah, it was something like how Trump did Space Force. And remember, Reagan was the actor. Trump did the acting for a while. He was on that one show. What was it called, honey? Where you're fired.
Yeah, I remember. The Apprentice.
I loved it. He fired everyone. I loved it on there. He was just firing people. And then he got in the White House and started firing the shit out of them. Good. But he really represents that Reagan archetype. What did Reagan say? Make America great again. The same slogan Trump does. Reagan was shot and survived. Trump, he was shot. I mean, whether it skimmed his ear or whatever happened there, and whether that was staged, and it's his character playing out this thing on the world stage to bring humanity into awakening. There's definitely something getting played out on our world stage right now, 1,000,000%. It kind of reminds me, honey, of that series, and I know I love this series, Paradise.
Oh yeah, we're watching that now. So Paradise on Hulu is really good. But if you think about Trump and Reagan, and then you have to look at JFK. So JFK was the first, and Reagan was the second, and then Trump is the third. So third time is the charm. That's what my higher self said. Third time, we're going to get it done.
Oh, that'd be beautiful. So you think the real Trump is not this? So this guy is some dude in a mask, you think, or what?
No, I think he has several doubles. I mean, they look different.
Yeah, it does look
They
different.
don't actually look like him, but he has several doubles, and they bring out different doubles depending on what they want him to look like that day, I think. So he'll have silver hair, or he'll have orange hair, or he'll be tall, or he'll be short. He'll look like he's tired, or he'll look like he's happy. Like they're just massaging the movie right now. Also, think about all the movies that have just come out. They had one with Melania. They had one with JFK Jr. and Caroline. They had one with Michael Jackson that just came out. So all of these are people that are going to reappear. Now, Melania, I think, is just going to take a bigger role. But the other two, they're going to reappear. So they're reseeding the consciousness to have them come back in. So think about that.
No, I think you're right about that. We actually talked about this back in about 2019. We did a show on it. I think it was right after Nipsey Hussle died, guys. And I said, a lot of these characters that are dying on the world stage, I guarantee they're going to come back. There's going to be some, I think they went to these like underground bunkers, just like in the show, freaking Paradise, guys. And if you haven't seen it, I'm telling you, you gotta watch it. It is phenomenal. I got Honey watching it now. Watch it on Hulu. But it's kind of like what me and Honey are talking about right here, where so the government finds out the super volcano blows up in Antarctica. And ain't that crazy? We ain't allowed to go to Antarctica either. I mean, that's kind of like what's really going on down there. But the super volcano blows up in Antarctica, and they leave all the public up here. They thought the whole world was going to get wiped out, but it didn't. Some people survived, went on. And the government and everybody else goes underground, guys. And they built a freaking city down there. I'm not joking. 25,000 people. It had stores, shopping centers, hotels. I mean, you couldn't even tell it's not real. There's a sky that is fake. It's projecting a hologram. And then they even had a fake sun down there, don't they, honey?
Yeah. It's such a great show for disclosure. It's very addictive too. Like we only allow ourselves to watch one episode every night while we eat dinner. But I would totally binge watch it if I could.
Oh, when I seen it, guys, I had to tell Honey because I'm like, oh man, Honey, we've got to decode this one day. It's so good. And there's this girl in it called Sinatra. She's the billionaire that built the bunker. She kind of replaced the Elon Musk archetype. It kind of interesting. Because she's all into the technology. She built the quantum supercomputer. Now, they're going to probably have to come out with a new season of it, how they left season 1, right? Or season 2, my apologies.
Oh, yeah. We're just started season 2.
So. Oh, I'm not going to ruin it then. Yeah, let me be quiet.
Don't tell me.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin it for Honey. But guys... It's awesome.
It is awesome. So somebody said in the chat that President Reagan in 1983, it was a U.S. missile defense program aimed at using space-based technology, often dubbed Star Wars.
Thank you. That's right.
Yeah, and he did pass immediately. When he was shot, he was gone at that point. But that's why they staged what happened to Trump. So, you know, it is really beautiful what's happening right now, you guys. And it looks gross in a lot of ways, but so much of it is just fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you just gotta let it go and go with the flow. What is Hulu? You never heard of Hulu? Oh wow.
So Hulu, I think Disney, it's
Yeah,
part of Disney maybe, but you can watch it like on Amazon. And a lot of us used to be really upset about all these different, companies and stuff. But at this point, they've all been taken over by the white hats. And that's why there's so much disclosure that's coming out. So keep that in mind.
I sure pray all that is happening. I mean, that would be amazing, if they're taking them over because they need to take that Disney over because them was some perverts. That was
Oh, terrible. Yeah, they've been taken over. BlackRock's been taken over. All these big companies have been taken over, and probably Verizon has been taken over, and that's why they're in trouble right now.
Oh yeah, Verizon with their little Moloch concert.
Yeah, exactly.
And guys, I put a QR code up there. You can join our free spiritual community, stepintoyourpower.com. It's amazing. Come over there. Honey drops her stuff every day. It's pretty much like a spiritual social media platform. And it's just all positivity, like the stuff we're talking about on here. It's so amazing over there. It really is. You owe it to yourself to at least go check it out. And also, hold on one sec, guys. Sorry. I've lost my slide right there. I was just going to shout out our sponsor for today.
Oh, yeah. Our sponsor.
Body Align. Shout out to them. That link is down below as well in the description. How did I get this thing off I left up there? I don't know.
Oh, the QR code. I don't know.
Okay, there we go. Sorry, guys. And the Body Align QR code's right there. And then the last little plug I got to do real quick before we end today's live. If you do want to get decoded yourself, you can get a decode on truthfultv.com. If you're part of my audience, that link is down below. If you're part of Honey's audience, there's a special link with a promo code. Use promo code Honey, and you'll get a special deal on our decodes. And we break down if you're a first player character, your superhero archetype, your god or goddess archetype, your Mayan profile. I mean, it's a full breakdown.
It's really fun, you guys. Really fun.
Yeah, Honey's got a powerful archetype. And this is an archetype you represent, because some people come back and think, oh shit, I'm really this god or goddess. Like, no, it's an archetype that you represent. And and some people might have the exact same code. It's because certain people represent certain archetypes. So my homegirl Nancy, she had a similar, almost identical to another person I decoded, but I see that all the time. And the crazy thing is the majority of the people are NPCs, but I don't think I've decoded too many of Honey's people that have been non-player characters. Most of them. So she's attracting a lot of first player energy. And I look at one of the oldest ciphers when I do it, Chaldean, Serpentry. We use multiple different ciphers, but I like to look at some of the older ones. And you see there, first player characters tied to the 64, like pineal gland open, representing the awakened avatar, and the non-player character is 63, which is tied to pineal gland sleeping, the closed avatar. Mm-hmm. And like Honey likes to say, which I love that breakdown, how the pine cone represents the oversoul, right?
Yeah, and if you think about it, so we were in Italy last year, and they have this symbol of the pine cone that's everywhere, and it's totally closed.
Is it?
So that's what they were really looking for. And it's like, I think it's a Catholic symbol. You guys can let us know in the chat maybe. But that pine cone is like all over the place. And it's the pineal gland closed, which that's what they were looking for. That's what they wanted. That's where the Vatican is, you know?
Oh,
So,
yeah, they got the big one right in front of the Vatican. And you're right, it is closed, just like that slide I showed. It's closed like
yeah,
that. Remember the Anunnaki with the bird head and he's holding the closed pine cone?
yeah,
So the Anunnaki were doing the same thing. They were, or at least a faction of them was trying to keep us asleep. But
totally.
so
Well,
important.
and that's where the descendants come from that were the 13 families from the Anunnaki.
All the 13 bloodlines
Mhm.
from them freaking Anunnakis.
Yeah, that's
What
why they
happened?
have those weird cone-shaped heads.
But before we end this today, what happened to the Anunnakis, honey? Where are they at? Where
They
they?
actually were exited as well. They were given a chance to, you know, come back and make it right here on Earth. And they had a few hidden pockets, but they did not make it. They were still too like obsessed with gold. It was like an addiction for them. And Nibiru got exited and the Anunnaki got dissolved. So the Anunnaki don't actually exist anymore in pure form.
Good.
Yeah.
The one that was good, from my understanding, and it feels like it resonates with me. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but Inky,
Yeah,
who,
Inky feels good. Yeah.
right? He was the one that was supposed to have tried to save us. He kind of got attached, like, and fell in love with one of the humans. If you look into the old stories, he had a couple kids with them. And then he was the one that went to his favorite human and gave him actually plans to build a submersible. It wasn't an ark. That's where we get the story. And this is thousands of years before a Bible was ever written. And they took all the DNA, which makes more sense if you think about it, on
Yeah.
the planet, in this submersible, and then repopulated the world after.
Right. And there's many arcs. So there's many arcs. Some of them are just pure extraterrestrial arcs, and they're all over the world. And usually they're underground or in the ocean somewhere, these arcs.
Like the one in Greenland, honey?
I don't think that's an arc. I think it's an ancient spaceship.
I thought they built an ark down there with like all the plants, all the seeds.
There are those kind of arcs all over the place. Like, yeah. But as far as the spaceship in Greenland that they discovered, I feel like that one was more like an ancient ET spaceship, and they've been using the tech and also screwing with the weather.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And there's always a cloud over Greenland. You ever notice that if you look on Google Earth?
Yeah, I feel like they're hiding what's actually above it. I had
Interesting.
a dream about Greenland. And it was very like, I'm like, ooh, that's rough right there.
But before we go today, anybody in the chat live in Greenland? Let us know what's going on down there. We're trying to figure out. I know Trump's trying to buy it. Trump, buy that shit. Buy Greenland. We need
I think he has a hold of it somehow already.
Greenland.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's already been dealt with. Yeah.
That's another great movie. They just came out with part 2. Last movie recommendation, Greenland Part 2. If you haven't watched Part 1, watch that first. Part 2 just came out, and that's after the comet came, which represented Nibiru. It looked like a winged disc, and it had a ash, or what are they called? When they have a tail behind it, honey, and it's pulling all that debris. That's what makes it give the winged appearance.
Oh.
So that stuff was raining down and like destroying everything. And they picked a big part of humanity and sent them text messages. And they got picked to go to Greenland, to go to this underground like ark. And then in part 2, it shows you where that picks up. And they found out the whole world didn't get destroyed. There's a pocket where humanity could go live. And
what show was this?
Greenland. It's so good. It's a movie.
I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, you'll love it.
Mrs. Adams became a monthly supporter. Thank you. I
Oh,
don't know what that is, but thank you so much.
we love you, Miss Adams. Whatever you're supporting, shout out to you and the whole
Yes.
Adams family.
Yes. Somebody asked if it's a floating city above the cloud there. I actually get yes.
Wow, floating city. That is fascinating because you know what movie they show us that in? So there is some disclosure there, Robert. What's it called? Oh man, I can't think now. What was the one where they were cloning everybody, honey? That series where you could put your consciousness into a sleeve, and then if the stat got blown out, that was the only way you couldn't transfer into another clone. Carbon something.
I don't remember. I don't think I watched that show.
Somebody in the comments, I'm sure you guys will say, but yeah, in that show, in that series, it was real big. Altered carbon. Altered carbon. So they had a
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's another good one. They had a floating city, and that's where all the elites, the deletes, stayed in this cloud up in the sky. So you couldn't even go up there. If you tried to go up there, they would shoot you down with these laser beams.
This floating city feels interdimensional to me, the one that's above Greenland. And it's like sometimes people could maybe see it, but a lot of times it's just invisible, even without the clouds being there.
That's interesting. Who do you feel lives up there?
Interdimensional beings. So, like fifth density and fifth dimensional beings. So, there's no clear, it feels like there's several different kinds or species up there, almost like a mishmash.
You think the more that we're raising our frequency now, we're able to start seeing some of this stuff?
Yes. And the astrology at the end of this month is supposed to help us see even more. So that's exciting.
It is exciting. And if you guys want to see an amazing astrologer, Kelly, she's phenomenal. One of Honey's
people. She is. Yeah, she's amazing.
She is. And before we go today, guys, for my audience, if you don't know, Honey also does quantum healing with her friend, Lisa, and they do a phenomenal job. And I put that link to that. Well, what's the website where you do your quantum healing?
balancingbodyandsoul.com.
Yeah, the link's in the description, guys. You should check it out. You just want to tell them real quick before we go what quantum healing is, honey?
So quantum healing is learning how to actually heal yourself, but being guided and getting rid of all of the contracts, all of the things like, say, your parallels that are in the way of your healing. So that's what we do in there. And then we go through a bunch of different energetic things, but it's really fun and it's really inexpensive for what we're doing in there. And it's a group, and you also have a chat that you can be in and communicate with the whole group. And we have one person in there that actually will do individual stuff with people as well. So things are just really fun, like with healing modalities, with energy, with sound, like frequencies really coming in to be a big healer right now.
Yeah.
Just really cool stuff that's going on. My healing with honey is really easy and inexpensive too. Like there's just so many things that are going on, not just with me, but with all kinds of healers right now.
Yeah, and what honey charges is super cheap, because I've seen this lady charging $500 for one session of freaking quantum healing video. I was like, wow. Yeah, that's a little intense. So, honey's is really reasonable price, and it is all about energy and frequency, guys. So, someone, you can heal yourself, and she can help you walk through that process. That's why that technology with our sponsor Bodyline works so good. It's all based on that energy and frequency, like Tesla said. If you want to find out the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibrations. And with that, I think we're out.
Okay. Love you guys. Bye.
We love you guys. Thank you.
Yeah. This song right here ain't just a vibe. It's a frequency. Tuned at 432 hertz to heal, to uplift, to activate. They changed the music, switched the code, took 432 and made it 440 mode. From nature's rhythm to the sound of war, now we vibrate low, depressed to the core. But this track's pure, tuned to divine design. Activating chakras, realign your mind. Root to crown, feel that inner fire. We break the system, elevate higher. Jesus said it, you'll do greater than me. Faith of a mustard seed moves mountains, my G. Junk DNA, nah, that's God's hidden tech. Flip the switch, heal your soul, reconnect. Step into your power, reclaim what's true. They don't want you knowing what your light can do. You can heal yourself, realign in an hour. When you step into your power, raise your vibe, break the chains they gave. You ain't a slave, you're a soul they crave. 396 root chakra, ground your fears. 4 and 17 sacral arch those tears. Via 28, that love DNA. Solar plexus charged, shine all day. 639 heart, open and feel. 741, speak your truth and heal. 85-2, third eye wide awake. 963 crown, no more fake. This ain't new age fluff, this is an ancient fact. They flip the frequencies to hold us back. 432 is sacred, aligns with the earth. The same math that coded your soul at birth. 4 + 3 + 2 = 9. The divine gate, the number of endings, the reset state. 9 fruits of the spirit, 9 cycles of time. From Homer to Brahma, the signs all align. 9 is completion, the wisdom returns. Once you activate, the old self burns. It's your season now. Break the illusion, heal yourself. No more confusion. They don't want you knowing you got that spark, that you're the light in the system's dark. But here at stepintoyourpower.com, we're teaching the secrets, keeping you calm. Step into your power, reclaim what's true. They don't want you knowing what your light can do. You can heal yourself, realign the hour. Click the link below and step into your power. Raise your vibe, break the chains they gave. You ain't a slave, you're a soul they crave. Click the link below and join the movement at stepintoyourpower.com. This track was